So Disney's Elemental, Disney and Pixar's Elemental, is coming out to theaters real soon. I mean, they're already hyping up the promotion for it online and on television. Maybe not as much as they should, but it's there, if you will. However, Disney's Elemental, through early advanced screenings, especially at events like, let's say, the Cannes Film Festival, has gotten some mixed reactions. Some feel it'll be a success, a mild success. Some feel it'll be a decent hit, and basically a film that the family could take their kids to in case maybe they don't want to be, stuck in a theater with whiny little kids watching movies like The Flash, Transformers Rise of the Beast, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and so on. So, there are some that believe it'll be all right. It'll be good. It'll basically probably make up the budget that went into it, is what I'm trying to say. While others feel and believe it'll be a bomb. It'll be a commercial failure. And the reason for it is the fact that Disney and Pixar are not putting effort into it, and also the fact that, according to some, it was shown as one of the last films on the last day of the Cannes Film Festival, and even those that did see it there felt that basically it wasn't good. Now call me crazy, and I've been called crazy a lot throughout my life, or at least some kind of rendition of it. But call me crazy, cuckoo, if you will. But I'm kind of in that minority that believes Disney and Pixar's Elemental will be a mild to decent success. Yes, it's not going to be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which will be in theaters already at the time of its release. Nor will it beat Transformers Rise of the Beast, nor will it beat The Flash. That is common reality and common sense to even know, to know about whether you support its success or you don't feel it'll be a success. It's just common knowledge it's not going to beat them. But I believe as an alternative family feature to take the young ones to, I think it'll be a decent success. It'll make its money back. Because depending on how long runtime the runtime is for Disney and Pixar's Elemental, that runtime will be more favorable to what Transformers Rise of the Beast runtime is, The Flash's runtime is, Spider-Man's and Spider-Verse's runtime is. It'll be more favorable for parents to take their young kids to, because young kids could get very, very restless if they're stuck watching a movie that goes for 2 hours, 20 minutes, like let's say Across the Spider-Verse, or a movie that's near, basically, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Oh, hold on for a sec. Hold on. Hold on. Let me trick something, guys. Hold on. Like I said, it'll be more favorable than watching, let's say, Rise of the Beast for an hour and 58 minutes, which is basically, 118 minutes. Or with The Flash, it's going to go beyond 2 hours, if you will. So it's going to have, favoritism, in its favor, I should say, by the parents to take their kids, their young kids that are not going to sit, patiently and thoroughly through these longer movies like The Flash and Across the Spider-Verse and Rise of the Beast. It's going to be a more favorable option, is what I'm trying to say. So to me, based on that alone, in my opinion, I think Disney and Pixar are going to have a decent to mild success. And what I mean by that, as I said earlier, I think I mentioned this earlier, or unless I did this in the second take, which failed, and I'm doing this on a third take. But like I mentioned before, it's very common sense to anybody that from a financial box office standpoint, it's not going to beat Across the Spider-Verse. It's not going to beat, Rise of the Beast. It's not going to beat The Flash. It's going to be somewhat, I would say, maybe in the top 10, if barely scratching the top 5. That's where it will be. It's not going to beat The Little Mermaid, because The Little Mermaid, a lot of people feel it's decent. It's got its issues, but it's a success. It's a mild success for them. It's basically making the money back that Disney put into it financially through the box office. And I believe Elemental will do the same thing. Yeah, it'll take a lot longer than what Little Mermaid's doing, but it'll make back the money. It will. But to me, it's common sense and knowledge. It's not going to beat, it's not going to beat Across the Spider-Verse. It's not going to beat The Flash. It's not going to beat Rise of the Beast. And even if it's still there in theaters by the time it gets released, it's not going to beat The Little Mermaid. It's not. It might be. Let me correct myself. It might barely beat it because people would have seen The Little Mermaid already, and now they want to see other stuff. So it might just barely beat it. But to me, it's barely going to scratch the top 5, but it will be prominently, I should say, in the top 10. There's no doubt in my mind. So to me, based on the fact that, like I said, it will be a film that parents will take their young kids to in favor over movies like Across the Spider-Verse, Rise of the Beast, and The Flash, not just based on the stories that they're telling in those movies or the rating or whatever, but mostly because of the runtime. The runtime for those films is going to be a lot longer than Disney and Pixar's Elemental. And because of that, that's going to favor Elemental more so over those movies, for parents to take their young kids to, because they know, hey, bright and colorful, silly, cartoony characters and everything. Hey, kids will pay attention more to that than they will CGI robotic characters in Rise of the Beast, or an adaptation of Flashpoint that they probably have no idea what that's about, or oh look, Across the Spider-Verse and everything, but yet they probably don't know about that because perhaps they're too young to even remember the first one, or maybe they got bored with the first one because it was too long for them. To me, what goes in the favor of Disney and Pixar's Elemental is going to be its runtime for parents. For parents to take their kids to. Which is why, like I said, I know I sound like I'm rambling and repeating myself here, but like I said, it's going to favor it in a big way. And it's going to make it a decent success, putting it in to the top 10, barely scratching the top 5 maybe, to where it will help Disney and Pixar make its money back. Now, you might say, well, Brian, you don't know that. For all you know, it's going to bomb on opening weekend. And yeah, you might be right. You might be right. It might bomb. It might become a huge failure. Excuse me for a second. I had to get some coffee. But you're right. It might be a huge failure on opening weekend. I'm not saying that. But because it's coming out in the summer, and a lot of young kids, out of school, out of preschool, Head Start, and, parents want to kind of keep them occupied besides keeping them at home or putting them, in front of the television to play games or whatever, they're going to want to take them maybe to a movie, especially if it's too hot. If it's too hot, like, the weather is, like some people in the weather industry are predicting, this being a scorching summer, they're going to want to take them someplace where they can have fun. And one of the places they can have fun at is going to a movie and watching a movie that will keep them occupied and entertained based on what they're watching. And to me, Disney and Pixar's Elemental is going to win in that category with the younger viewers. That's what it's going to do. I mean, kids that are going to be like, let's say, in the 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and all that, those are the kind of kids that'll be more interested in watching us Across the Spider-Verse. They are. They'll be more interested in that. More inclined to see that over Elemental. So when you look at kids that are going into 2nd grade, maybe 3rd grade, Spider-Verse is going to win that audience. But any kids under that, and maybe around that grade range and all that, Elemental is going to win that audience. That's a fact. When you look at, Rise of the Beast, that's more for people my generation. You look at The Flash, That's for people that have paid attention to the comics and understand the maturity level. And grew up watching the '89 Batman, if you know what I mean. And that would be my audience. You kind of get what I'm saying? Elemental's in that category right now that the next Paw Patrol is going to be in. Yeah, the next Paw Patrol movie, which comes out later this year, it's kind of getting in that category, a little above the second Paw Patrol movie, but it's in that category to where, yeah, it's going to be a family film. Everybody can go and watch. Everybody can go and enjoy and see and everything and have a good time. And long story short, it's it's going to keep the kids entertained that can't be, entertained or sit down and be patient, for the runtime of movies like Rise of the Beast, Flash, Little Mermaid. Well, they might stay for Little Mermaid, but still, you get what I'm saying. The movies that'll be released around the same time as Elemental, Flash, Rise of the Beast, and even before Elemental gets released, Across the Spider-Verse. It's gonna win in those, it's gonna win in the areas, or in the area of runtime that keeps the younger viewers satisfied, that keeps them entertained. Because I can tell you from experience, and I know some of you know this from experience, that if you take a young kid, and this is the honest truth, you take a young kid to go see a movie as long as, let's say, The Flash, as long as, let's say, Rise of the Beast, maybe, as long as Across the Spider-Verse. You take them to see that, and I guarantee you, halfway through, or let's say you're getting into the third and final act, kids are going to get restless. They're going to get restless, and they're going to want to move about because they're not going to be patient, patient enough to sit through the rest of the film. You can take something like Elemental, and that's probably going to be a different story. That's going to be a different story, in my opinion. So, in the end, I'm in the minority to where I believe Elemental by Disney and Pixar is going to be a mild to decent success, not a major hit, like I think Disney and Pixar would hope and pray for, but it will be a mild to decent success, and that mild and decent success is going to depend and be based on the fact that parents are going to take the younger kids, the ones that range from Head Start to preschool, range from Head Start, preschool to pre-K to kindergarten to, first and maybe second grade. It's going to rely and depend on parents taking those kids in those grade ranges, age ranges, if you will, to the theater to see it, because they know that their kids, those parents will know their kids are not going to sit patiently, in the theaters and watch a 2 hour 20 plus movie, or 2 hours 20 minute plus movie in Across the Spider-Verse, despite it being animated and it being Spider-Man. They're not going to do that, because by the third act, like I mentioned, they're going to get restless. The same is said with Rise of the Beast, same is said with The Flash. Parents know that kids by the third act, if not even before the third act, are going to get restless. So the best option is for them to go see Elemental. And I think, again, that's going to, put Elemental in a successful, atmosphere as, winning back its money when it comes out. It's going to win back its money when it comes out. It might take about a week or two, but it's going to do it, in my opinion, because parents are going to choose that for the young kids of, like I said, that are in Head Start, starting Head Start, going into preschool, going into pre-K, going into kindergarten first, maybe even second. That's going to be the better option for their kids in those categories over the ones that are definitely going to blow the box office away within the next 3 weeks, starting tomorrow. But that's just my opinion. That's how I see it. So to me, I think it will be a decent amount of success. It's just going to be more dependent on parents choosing it because of its runtime over movies like Spider-Verse, Rise of the Beast, The Flash, and others. But what are your thoughts? Do you think I'm onto something? Or do you think maybe but maybe it's, way too little too late to even believe it'll be a success. Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Love to hear from each and every one of you on this. And until then, talk to y'all later.